Hey, it's Dave again, your favorite mortgage guy, and wanted to go over one of my spreadsheets that I use for the purposes of quoting, and just kind of wanted to make sure that some of this was defined if you ever got one of my quotes. But this is really something for even if you don't, things that you can use to sort of you know, decide which rate you want, right? So for me, I think it's really important for clients to sort of choose which way they want to go based on not necessarily how long they'll be um, in the home, because really, who's going to decide to leave their home, but really how long they want to be in the loan. And that's kind of like another topic, of course, is how long do you want to be in the loan? So if you've got like a real short-term plan with the loan, usually you want a short-term positive return on investment, like if you intend on refinancing it in the future, as an example. So anyway, just to kind of delve or to dive, I guess, right into sort of this quote that I drummed up, and it's not an actual quote. I just kind of slapped it together. So this is not to scale or anybody's rate quotes or anything like that. I just want to make sure that we go over um, sort of how to read this and how you would decide for you based on your strategy, if these were the numbers that were given to you, what you plan on doing. So essentially, each column, and I think I can use this to sort of write here. Yeah, each column you'll see has its own rate, and that rate, um, from here all the way down to the bottom, is sort of um, this is like the entire breakdown of it, from the 30 here at the top all the way down to the break even months at the bottom. And the break even months are based on monthly interest savings. There's another video that I did about interest savings. So that monthly interest savings figure, um, over time, and how long it takes to recoup that upfront total cost, or that upfront investment here. So one thing, I'm comparing all of these rates to somebody with a current rate of 4%. Not that really anybody out there still has 4%, but hey, if you do, it's definitely, I mean, even though rates are going up, it's definitely time to redo it, wherever you're at. But at any rate, at a loan amount of 425, which is the same across the board, you'll see that the closing costs, basically this is kind of like for Washington State, are just under 3,900 bucks. But you'll notice that that is actually the same across the board, right? So wait a minute. So why is the total cost different, right? Well, here's the deal. This is the total of like the third party fees, right? Your your appraisal, title fees. I actually have another video that talks about how to get title fees, um, and county fees, all of that stuff sort of put together. Of course, if you get an appraisal waiver, hey, that gets reduced by quite a bit. But but yeah, the thing that makes your total cost is whether you're paying for the rate, like these two, you're actually paying for the rate, or whether the rate may be paying you with a little bit of lender credit here. So essentially this here is points, like you'd be paying 0.937, and what that is a percentage of the loan amount. So when you're talking about origination is a sort of like a price that you pay for the rate. So here you're paying almost a point for this rate. As an example, for this rate, you're paying just under half a point. But when you get to this rate, as an example, you're no longer paying for that rate. Now that rate is paying you $267 toward your closing costs. So instead of paying $38.90, because you're getting this lender credit, your total cost is actually less than the closing costs. So that's essentially how this works in a nutshell, in regard to looking at the closing costs start to finish on this top spreadsheet. This bottom spreadsheet is sort of an interest savings analysis versus your current rate. And all four of these actually are going to be pitting each one of these rates against this. Now, one thing that you'll notice, and let me do this, let me kind of explain this. Maybe this is a really good way to explain this, like almost like an investment, right? So let's say that your stockbroker walks up to you and he says, hey, invest 36.22 in the stock, and I promise you at the end of the year, it's going to be worth 47.81. Well, you'd probably do that, right? You'd, net about 1,100 bucks or so. In fact, actually what you're netting there, that net return on investment is calculated here, 11.58. So would you do that? If your stockbroker told you that, you probably would. Hey, I know I would. Hey, Dave, give me 3,600 bucks at the end of the year. I'll make it almost worth 4,800 bucks. Okay, here you go. Right. And then of course, so that works that way at the 3-year and 5-year level. And what it does is it takes into account the monthly interest savings, and then multiplies that by 12 to get your annual savings, and then subtracts the initial cost. So the 3-year return on that investment is 10.7. The 5-year return on that is 22.83 and 93 cents. So the way that I look at this is like, look, if you have a let's say that your plan with this loan is to have it and really, I'm going to pay this thing down like really quick, and I'm probably going to refinance it into a 15-year, like in maybe a couple years. If your plan is like under 2 years, it looks like the best 3-year return on investment on this whole thing is actually the highest rate, oddly enough. Normally you wouldn't think, hey, go with the highest rate, but look at the 3-year return, 11.265. So this one has the best 3-year and 1-year return, probably because there's a big old lender credit here, almost 2,400 bucks of lender credit going towards your closing costs. Okay, so your total cost to do this loan's less than 1,500 bucks at this rate, the one on the far right column here. Okay, now let's say that you've got a lot longer term outlook, like, look, man, I just want to set this and forget it. I might turn this into a rental property in 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know. The rates are never going to go down again. This is the lowest. I just want to get the lowest rate possible. Well, looking at this, the best 5-year return obviously is the lowest rate. So that's this one right here. So in that case, if you have a longer term outlook with your loan, I would recommend looking at maybe like a 5-year and beyond return, because this one is the best return on investment. Okay, very good. I hope that helps you guys. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.